Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Kerbal Space Program. If you joined us in our last episode, we did a nice double rescue mission. And now I think it's time to do some moon science. So that's what we're going to do in this episode. Let's go over to the contract building. So what we need to do is rack up a good bit of science in order to get the appropriate parts that we need to get to the moon. So in order to do that, I'm going to activate the Explore the Moon contract right here, where if we orbit and recover data from around the moon, we get some science and some money. And then the next one, we gotta land on the moon and then get data from the surface. But in order to get that second one, I think we just need to build a moon orbiter first, just to collect all the orbital science. And once we do that, we'll have enough science to purchase other items here that'll make our life a lot easier. So let's go ahead and we want to basically get a moon lander. That's our main goal. So what I'm going to do is start getting towards that by getting some landing struts here, and that'll just help us out by getting to the moon a little bit easier. So I'll grab that one. Unfortunately, we don't have enough science to get any more, but with this next mission of orbiting the moon, we will have enough science to get maybe some bigger rocket parts, some more fuel. I might get this one next because it's got all the fuel tanks and other fuel accessories. Now if you notice up here, my money is a lot higher than it was before. That's because off camera I just went and did a couple of those bunch of redundant little contracts here. Put a couple more satellites in orbit, did another rescue mission, basically stuff that you've already seen that I felt would make a boring video because you've seen it already. But I did a bunch of those things and managed to rack up a lot more money. That's why I have a lot more, in case you guys are paying attention. Alright, but let's go ahead and focus now on building ourselves a moon orbiter capable of orbiting the moon and coming back with a whole bunch of data. Here we are. So we're definitely going to want this to be a manned craft because we're going to want to put, basically I'm going to put a scientist on board. I'm going to get Jeb out of there and we're going to put Bob the scientist inside the capsule. He's going to be the science guy. It's going to get us that extra science that we need. So here we go, we'll just pop a parachute on there. It's always good to do that first. Let's go ahead and grab 2 goo containers because we're going to want to do some science. I'm going to position these rather up high on the capsule like that, just to balance out the weight and make it a little more aerodynamic like that. Alright, next thing we're going to want is a heat shield. Now that's a bigger heat shield, we don't want that one, we want this one right over here. So I'll pop that guy on there like that. Alright. I am going to want to slap on here the Kerbal Engineer system. So let's go ahead and build ourselves the actual orbiter now. We don't need a whole lot in terms of fuel. Just something like this. Because remember, we're just orbiting the moon. We just want to see what's going on around it. We don't want anything too crazy yet. But we should throw on here a couple batteries and a couple solar panels just to make sure we're remaining charged up. Oh, and I almost forgot, we do need the Science Junior for some extra science from the moon. What else can we do? Let's put a thermometer on there too. We'll just throw that right on there, so that we can remember to take that reading. We do have this better comm dish. Heck, why not? We'll put it on here. We don't really need it to stay with the craft too much. We'll slap it on the back. Really all I'm concerned with is just getting the science down here and bringing back whatever we can. So we can, remember, we can always take the science from this module and put it back in the capsule again. So really, I don't even really need to put these up here, but I'll just put them up there anyway because it'll make my life a little bit easier. Let's see, I'll name this thing the Lunar Orbiter. Alright, so that's that part of it. How are we doing on parts? Again, we have to watch. Actually, you know what? We don't have to watch out for parts anymore. Let's just back out for a sec. Because we have so much money, we can actually purchase the upgrade for the vehicle assembly building. And I've been waiting to do this for a long time now. I just wanted to do it on camera so you guys could see. So right now we can only do supported parts 30, but if we get this upgrade, we can build 255 parts now, and we can do basic action groups. So I'm definitely going to get that upgrade for 337,500, and we still have a lot of science. So you can see the building is now upgraded a bit. Very good. The next upgrade I'm probably going to go for is this one, 676,000. So I'm going to wait a little bit and save up some funds. I don't really need to do any other buildings. Like the administrative building, I don't really find 100% necessary to use. Because as it is right now, I'm doing fine with science, I'm doing fine with money, so I'm not really going to bother upgrading that one. Mission control's already been upgraded to level 2. I suppose this building could use a nice upgrade, but I'll cross that bridge when the time comes. I think I want to save for this first, just so we can get, you know, there's a science limit. Plus, we want the Kerbals to get surface samples from EVA, so that when we do finally go to the moon, we'll be able to do that. So let's go back into the assembly building here and see how it looks now on level 2. Ah, look at this. It's a lot wider, that's for sure, a lot bigger. It's a little more state-of-the-art. I kind of like that. Looks nice. But anyway, now you can see we have a max of 255, so we don't have to worry anymore. We don't have to worry at all about parts counts, basically. That's perfect. We could go to any planet with that part count, basically. Well, maybe not, but let's continue. So we're going to come on down here and throw this thing on here. And because we have more part allowance now, I'm going to just make sure we... Oops, I meant to alt-click that. That's okay. I'm going to put 4 of these on here so that no matter which way the vessel's pointed, we're going to basically have power coming into those batteries. And that's basically what we want. Alright. Now, we don't have bigger fuel tanks, and that's probably the next thing we're going to get when I get more science. A couple more fuel tanks. Different types of fuel tanks. Put a couple engines on there with the swivel. I like that swivel engine. And we're going to make sure that we are aerodynamic for sure. What I also might do is use 4 big giant boosters. Maybe a little bit lower, just so that the 4 boosters are basically going to be propping up the spacecraft. There we go. That's a smarter way to do it anyways. It's a lot of thrust going to be going through there. So what I might do is just limit the thrust maybe just to 75, maybe 2/3 thrust. And that should do it for all of them, right? I think so. Yes, it did. Okay. Oh, let's go here and we'll get rid of the monopropellant. We still don't have any RCS yet. We do have this inline reaction wheel, but that doesn't work unless you have a pilot. So I'm just going to leave that alone. Plus it's a little small, so it's fine. So let's see, total delta V 5,000, but we got to change our staging. We're going to bring all the engines down here so that everything fires at once. Then we're going to release these 4. Once this part releases, we're going to activate this stage. And then finally, this is going to release, and the parachute is going to be free to do its thing. And that should get us there to where we need to go. Let's see. If not, we can always come back and try again, but I think that'll do it. Let me just check and make sure I'm not forgetting anything, or we can add anything on. Don't really need lights or any kind of fancy parachutes yet. This should basically do it for us. Action groups we can do. Basic action groups. We can't assign anything crazy just yet. So let's just make sure that, you know, Bob is still in there. Bob the scientist. Bob Kerman the science guy. Alright. I think that's it. Yeah, let's take this thing out to the launch pad. It is a little dark, so what I'm going to do is just warp on over to the bright side. We got some take temperature scans of Kerbin missions. I might do that too. Who knows? I'll worry about that when the time comes. For now, I'm just going to worry about this moon mission. Sometimes I get a little ahead of myself. Alright, so we can't do SAS. That's fine. We got these nice fins right here to help us out. So let's go ahead and get this thing launched. It's going to point ever so slightly to the 90-degree mark. So you can see the ship is rotating a bit, and again, that's just because we don't have a pilot to control the rotation, but that's okay. We don't need that just yet. Just gonna try to inch it over there to the right. Okay, we'll let those things go. We'll go up to full throttle, and that's a lot easier to control now. Whoa. Not quite sure what that explosion was. That was a little strange. Just trying to get this thing right back to the 90 again. Did fall a little away from it. There we go. Standard launch profile. So you can see our apoapsis height is getting pretty far up there. So I'm going to turn a little more aggressively than I normally would. Let's look at the map view. Yeah, we got a nice arc. We want to just spread that arc out now. It's getting a little easier to control now that we're in the upper atmosphere. Bob's like, why am I doing this? I'm not a pilot. I can't be doing this. But he's okay. He's gonna make it. So we're almost at the end of this fuel tank here, and that'll be the end of it. We'll let this stage go as soon as that happens. There we go. Fire this one up. We'll just complete our burn. Oops. Whoa. Gotta keep watching the nav ball there. Almost floated right off. The stage is a little weaker. That's why it's taking a little longer. But that's okay. We'll get there. Man, I'm really missing that SAS. Alright. Engines cut off. We'll do it right there. Add the maneuver to give us a nice circle. We'll just need an additional 399. So this thing really just floats around, literally. There's nothing to counteract the motion. So any little movement we do, we're going to have to counter it. That's okay. And we should have plenty of fuel. This craft has about 2,100 meters per second left. It only takes about 800 to get to the moon. So we'll be left with, you know, something around the 1,000 range once we're done, once all is said and done. So I think we'll be okay with fuel. Getting up there now. Right around the 15-second mark, we'll burn. For some reason, the ship is wanting to turn a little bit. It's wanting to turn as we burn. Should be totally balanced. I don't really think there's anything too much out of place. Everything's basically symmetrical. Maybe it's just little things like this could possibly be pushing us around. Maybe the mass isn't precisely through the center of thrust. Who knows? Well, anyways, I'm not going to worry about it too much. We basically are in orbit. It's about as close to a circle as I would allow. And if you look at Kerbal, yeah, you'll notice there's a lot more satellites around. And like I said, off camera, I just went ahead and launched a couple more of those satellite contracts. One of them was a polar orbit, and there was a couple more that were a little further out. Oh, and this rescue mission, this guy was way out past the moon, Theogel. That was an interesting mission. If you want to see how I did that one, I could possibly record another one. And maybe if there's another one where there's a far out Kerbal. It's a little bit different than your standard rescue mission, but basically the same all in all. Alright, so we're in orbit now. We want to just aim at the moon. Hello moon. Set you as the target. And we are just a little off from it because of Bob's crazy piloting skills. I'll blame Bob for that one. So just pull down right at the sending node just so we can get that thing nice and evened out. It's only going to take a 1 second burn. In fact, that's it. Yep. So that's a lot better. So now, let's just aim at the old moon. We're basically past the point where we want to be, but that's okay. .22, that's pretty good. This time I am going to want to come around on the right side of the moon. I'm not going to really worry about free return trajectory right now because we do want to get an orbit around the moon. So that's what we're going to go for. So I'm just going to warp us to here. I love that feature. Can't really go wrong. It's like time warp for dummies. We're in the dark side now. Bob is happy. I gotta say, I'm having a lot of fun with this new version. They added so many different contracts, a lot more than that was in the original first contract version of KSP. And they're a lot of fun too. I love those piloting ones where you fly the space plane around and take visual surveys. I think that's so fun. I'm glad they added those in there. And let me know if you guys want to see more of those types of contracts, or if you just want me to cut through the red tape and all the BS, just get right to landing on different planets. And I like hearing from you guys. You guys give me some good feedback. So here we are. Definitely started burning a little late because I was too busy yapping around. For all you guys watching, you're probably like, why isn't he burning yet? Yes, it is a little late, but that's okay. We'll make it. We'll still make it. We can always adjust. Speaking of adjusting, I'm having to float around quite a bit just to keep this thing right on the marker. For whatever reason, our spacecraft is a little unbalanced. Just gonna try to keep it right in that blue maneuver node. Alright, so I'm just going to see what we get. What do we got? What kind of encounter is it? Did we totally blow it? Yeah, we're a little off. Let's see. Just push it a little bit more. Come on, stay right there. That's good right there. 62. Maybe a little less. 45. 30. Okay, we'll take that. We'll take that one right there. That's fine. Our descending node is still zeroed out, so we're going to go right, basically straight across the moon's equator. So that's it. Got enough solar panels, so we don't really have to worry about which way we're pointing the spacecraft. So let's see. I have a lot of extra contracts open. Plant flag of the moon, we'll do that next. Explore the moon. We're going to be looking at this one here. Alright, we're going there. Let's do our little warp 2. We'll fling ourselves away from our planet, putting Sir Isaac Newton in the driver's seat. We're a little bit closer now. Let's see, we'll get it right up to about... Let's see, can we do it? And we'll do it right before the sphere of influence change. This is great. I can just watch and not have to worry about cutting it off. And there's Minmus right back there. I don't know if you can see, it's just a little speck. There she is, right back there. Alright. Let's go through the sphere of influence change. And we'll see what happens. I like how the game automatically warps you down. That is so cool. There we go. So we have a nice lunar periapsis of 29. Let's pop a maneuver node. And we're just going to close that orbit down. Just close it up. For another 200 meters per second. We do have 900 total. So we have plenty to work with. It doesn't really cost a whole lot to get home from the moon. So don't worry, we'll be just fine. We'll just get a little bit closer. Now technically we are in high lunar orbit, so in fact, let's go ahead and do the whole thing. Crew report. You look at the surface of the moon and try to find a good landing space. The inside of the craters might be the best option. And because we have Bob, we have an extra 9 science in that. I'm going to transmit that back. Just aiming it generally at Kerbin and hoping that it does its thing. Observe the mystery goo. The goo feels right at home high over the moon. And let's go ahead and grab the materials bay. High radiation environment. Nice. And let's take the temperature scan as well. Measuring the temperature of space appears to be quite impossible. There's no matter around to either be hot or cold, except the spacecraft and the thermometer itself. It's probably going to give R&D guys something to think about for a while. That's funny, because I think originally it would just say you couldn't do a temperature log, but now it's saying you can. That's kind of cool. So I am just going to get Bob out here. Hopefully stop the spinning. There we go. We can also take an EVA from high over the moon. So many science reports we can do. Awesome. And we're just going to come fly over here for a sec and just reset this experiment. As soon as we get close enough to it, that is. Collect and restore. Cool, now we're all set for some more. And we'll board. Okay. Good. So now we can use that one more time. Well, I'm not going to collect this data because we could just do another one, and this is going to come back down with the spacecraft, so it's fine. So let's get ourselves warped in nice and close to the moon. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing right there. Nice. Nice screenshot right there. So we'll just get this thing pointed at the maneuver. Let's go ahead and close up this orbit. And this time I am going to actually burn at the correct time. About 22 seconds should do it. Right about there. About do it right there for us. 23 by 34. Okay, not too bad. So let's see. If we do surface, it should tell us where we are. We're in low space over the highlands. So here we go. Crew report near the moon. Keep it. Observe the goo. Keep it. Observe the materials. Keep it. Actually, we can send the data. Review stored data. Let's see. Material study. View report. Here we go. Crew report. Well, okay, so we'll send that one back for 100. There we go. Can also do EVAs over different biomes. Highland craters. And what's cool is that Midlands. Here we go. Midlands. What's awesome is that this program here will tell you where you are over the moon. Love that. Alright, let's see. Just keep on flying here until we change biomes a few times. Highlands, did we get that yet? I don't think so. There we go. Oh, I missed the Highlands. It's very quick. It changes so fast. Highlands. See if we can get it. Cool, we got it. And we are going to pass a couple big craters here. I think that's one of them. We're a little too high for that one. There's a bunch of little craters on the moon that are going to be good science to do EVAs over. And when we finally go to land on the moon, we can get science from those particular craters as well. Midland craters, grab it. Oh, missed it. Missed it. Bugger. Here we are at the East Farside crater. Grab that one. That's one of the nice big craters. Of course, we can't see it right now. It's in the dark side. It's a nice big one. Canyons. Got it. Now here we are at the Farside crater. There's an East Farside crater and a regular Farside crater. Of course, we can't see it again because we are still in the dark side. Oh, here comes Kerbal. Nice Kerbal rise. Also in the dark side. Oh. Kerbal looks great when it's fully lit up when you're coming around the other side. So that's a pretty view. I'm just going to keep circling around and collecting data. Here's the next big crater right here, but I don't think... Oh, Northwest Crater, we are. Wow, that was nice of the game. Let us do it even though we're just barely touching it. Got it. And we can get this crater right here, and there's also a crater here. All these craters are different biomes where you can get more science from. But let's see, let's get this one down here. East Crater, here we go. Do the old EVA. East Crater, got it. And then we're right back basically where we started. Let's go ahead and take a temperature log here. Oh, actually, it's going to overwrite it. Okay, so let's get Bob out. Let's get him out here. And he can just try to... I wonder if he can grab that data from there. Yeah, take data. Now we can log it near the moon. We'll keep it. And we'll also come over here. Hey-oh! Little tiny movements work best here. So basically, don't do what I'm doing. Zooming around here like a crazy moron. Come on, Bob, you're right there. Come on, you fool, you're right there. Here we go, collect. And just in case, we'll restore it. Okay. That was a little more tricky than I would have liked, but that's alright. Let's get him back into the ship. There we go. So we've collected a great giant deal of science. It's time to get home again. So what we're going to do is we're going to push the spacecraft this way against the orbit of the moon, and that's going to deorbit us. It's going to destabilize our orbit. Point it towards that way, and as you can see, it's pulling that periapsis in there. Just keep it going that way against the tides of gravity. 42. We'll leave it at that. Should really more be like 28. 28's a good altitude coming back from the moon. That's fine. 27.9. That'll do us. So we gotta warp to that point, which is basically right around the other side. So we'll just warp here. The data we are missing is the poles from the moon, and also a couple of these lower craters here, but that's okay. We'll come back and get those on another mission. I think we have so much science right now that we're going to basically be able to unlock a lot of things. In fact, we got a couple contracts too. I just realized. Explore the moon, achieve orbit. So we got a couple of those contracts. In the next video, we're going to land on the moon and transmit data from the surface. This burn's going to take 13 seconds. We'll burn around 6 or 7 seconds. And for those of you who don't know why we do it that way, it's just because you want to make the burn on both sides of the number here. So half the burn is going to be on this side of it, and half the burn will be on the other side of the maneuver node, just so it'll all even out. So I'm just going to eyeball this. Let's go to orbital view. Actually, it's not going to help us. Let's just look at the map. 56. We're going to want to bring that right to about 28. 24. It's a little more than I'm comfortable with. Let's just back it up just a touch. That's fine right there. That'll do it. So yeah, basically, again, for those of you who don't know why we're pushing the rocket this way, it's because, think about it, we're going around the Earth, or not the Earth, we're going around Kerbin in a counterclockwise fashion with the moon. So if we pushed this way, we would gain more speed just because that's the direction that the planet is rotating, so we would actually push our orbit further out. We want to cancel all that velocity that the moon's giving us, so we're pushing against the tide of gravity. That's going to bring our ship in closer. We're basically going to fall. That's essentially what's happening. We're falling really fast towards Kerbin once we do this maneuver. So let's go ahead and warp us right there. Going away from the moon. Leaving it, saying goodbye to you, moon. It's been fun. Just get it the rest of the way. Love that it automatically kicks down. Okay, so now we've left the moon's influence. We're now in Kerbin's influence, so we're just going to fall. We're going to take a long nosedive off the off the diving board there. Let's see, how much delta V are we looking at? About 380 left, so not bad. Not bad. Basically used that whole tank and most of this tank, so it wasn't a complete waste. We had basically just enough fuel. So let's go ahead and warp to right about there. Here we are falling straight towards Kerbin. That's cool. Very nice. There we are. We have 12 stored data. in this capsule. Excellent. We'll just bring her on home. No idea where we're gonna land. It's a big mystery. It always is when I do these. It's always fun to me to figure out where we're gonna land. Hopefully we don't land over any mountains. That always seems to be the bane of my existence. Somehow landing on mountains. Looks like we're gonna land somewhere, probably the direct opposite side of Kerbin. Yeah, pretty much about as far away as you can get from the KSC, so we're not going to get a good money return from this, from extra parts, but that's okay. Alright. I'm going to keep this thing attached just as long as I can through the re-entry, just to make it a little easier on the old bob there. Ooh, look at this though, it is spinning when you know what, I don't like it. I think I'm just going to let it go. Yep, just gonna cut it off and hope and pray that this thing stays. Okay, there we go. Come on, center out. There we go. Again, we don't have SAS, so we just have to hope and pray that this thing is aerodynamically suitable for this sort of thing here. Oh, there's Binmus right there. How cool. There we go. You know, I just thought of something. We're probably going to lose these 2 goo containers. Yep. That's a thought that had just occurred to me. Well, we'll see what happens. If we lose them, we'll just get them again on the next mission to the moon. Well, so far it's doing good. No temperature warning just yet. Okay, camera has flipped around, letting us know that we are now coming in for landing no matter what. Still no temperature warning on the goo. That's unbelievable. I think that thing just exploded. Yeah, our old rocket service module exploded. The blader's hanging in there just fine. I feel pretty good. I don't think we're going to lose anything. Maybe because it's far back enough. Yeah, that's probably what it is. It's high enough up where it's not catching the brunt of the force. This is catching it all, basically, which that's the point of it. Looks like we're coming over some fairly soft terrain, fairly even. No mountains. That's a godsend. A couple times in Kerbal series past, I would come back from a nice long mission only to land on a mountain and tumble down and kill the whole crew. But this time we're just fine. Again, I'm paranoid, so I'm going to deploy the chute a little bit higher just to make sure that we ended up okay. Alright, let's get her deployed. It's going to slow us a little bit. As the clouds roll by. We're essentially on the opposite side of Kerbin. Looks like we're coming down real fast. I think that was just a time warp. Parachute is open. And we are slowed. A nice 6 meters per second. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'll take that. We are a little bit heavier because of the goo and all these little instruments here, but I think 6 is pretty light. I think we'll be just fine. There we go. A little bumpy for Bob, but I think he's alright. Where are we? Grasslands, we got all that data anyway. So that's it. Let's collect the vessel. Let's see how much science we get. I'm excited. Oh my goodness, a nice 395, almost 400 science. Brings us up to 470, so we'll be able to get a lot more, what should we call it? Lots more science and parts and stuff. Bob gained 3 XP. Awesome. Cool. We were very far from the KSC, so we only got 28% back, but that's awesome. So that's it, guys. In the next episode, we're going to build a moon lander now that we have enough money and enough science to get enough bigger and better parts to build a moon lander. And so we'll go to the moon, we'll land on it, and get the Mooner science and finish the moon contract. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in that next episode.